Hi there. This position was reached after my 18th move, knight takes e4, pawn on e4, with my opponent in a 3-minute game where we've already played each other. I can see here the score is 2-1 in my favour. Again, I will try to bring some that I'm actually losing against these players. But black here makes the move 18, knight a6. So I wish to treat this as a bit of an exercise or a bit of a puzzle for my own game. So what's the move you're going to play now? What's the sort of move you wish to play now? Because clearly I'm a pawn up. Oh, I'm not a pawn up. I'm still just equal. So that's even better. So what would you like to play now? What do you think is the move I played against this opponent who's already beaten me the first game? And this was played 1 hour ago. So anyway, let's have a look at what I played and look at the position about how hard it is for black after the move that I play, because the queen is overloaded in defending the bishop on d7. And but things have come to a standstill really, because black can probably play moves like queen c7 if it's their turn, or knight c7 or something like that. So here I played the following move on 19. I played this move. I hope you thought of this too, at least thought of it, as we have to think outside the square often in chess, don't we? Now I could play knight g5, so that if queen g5, then I play queen d7, and that looks quite healthy. But in this case, I played knight f6 check. So this is a forceful move, and it generated the capture of the knight on f6 with the pawn. But have a look at after the pawn captures, which is what I'm going to do, the sort of position that black is left in. So here we go. Here is gf6 and ef6. Now, it's very difficult right now for black to find a move that looks suitable. The queen is able to come down here and check after f7, or even to queen e5 as checkmate soon after if the king goes to h8. Hope you see what I'm talking about. So it's very, very difficult. It might be actually quite an easy idea or move to see is knight e4 to f6 check, sacrifice. So here came, this is my opponent's response, and it's probably about the best one, is king f7, e4, bishop e8, offering a queen's exchange. Now just swing the queen back to g3, queen d4 check, bishop e3. Now black is threatened with what? What's black threatened with that black has to react to? Which is a bit sad really, but at the end of the day, black's still going to have a piece and a rook to the good for the queen. So that gives you an idea of what was played next. if bishop queen e3 check, queen takes bishop e3 check, then just queen e3 and e5 and queen h6 and queen g7 or queen h7, that sort of thing. So what happened here, as now white threatens, of course, queen g7 checkmate, and also bishop takes queen. What happened here was queen takes f6. Now notice that if the I'm going to ramble, but notice that the queen is now forked by the rook on f1, so that if I had a pawn on h6 or a bishop on h6, then I just could play queen g7 check mate. See, because the queen can't take back because of the rook check, and there's no squares for the. That's what I like about chess, those sorts of things that you can't do anything about. They're the hardest ones to meet, but they're the nicest ones to play. So if I have a bishop or a pawn on h6, I can just play queen g7 checkmate. It's quite cool, isn't it? Because the rules of chess govern that the queen cannot capture back. So after queen f6, I played rook f6, but of course, king f6 and e5. Now this pawn joins in on the sort of like the kind of fun, but also it I think about it that I'm closing this bishop off on e8 as well. Okay, so now came king e7, queen g7. So maybe king f7 is a wee bit better, but it's not too nice for black. As we can see, this rook and this knight are needing to still come into the play. So it's like the king and the bishop are playing against my bishop and queen at this stage, even though they are there hiding. So king e7. So I just have to make sure I'm expedient. Bishop g5 check. King c8. Now what's the most annoying move you can find? I'm not talking about Jim Carrey here with what's the most annoying sound in the world. But what's the most hardest move to meet, and it might not even be the right one, is, I think, queen e7. I have to keep being like a wasp in this position, because if I go to sleep, then I'm possibly going to drop my initiative somewhat. Knight c7, so now I play queen h7. So I think on another story, I think h4 pawn to h7, h6, h7, I think I said that, h8, etc. So this is not very nice. Now come king b7 and h4. So this is a problem for black's bishop now. See, the bishop can't move. The bishop cannot move. And as well as that, the knight can't move. Only the king and the pawns and the rook can move. So king a6, that's sad, isn't it? Queen c7, bishop h5. I'll swim through these ones. Queen c6. Now my opponent is having me in time trouble, so plays rook c8. That's also sad. Queen c8. So I'm in time trouble, I consider. And that's checkmate. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that session from this position here. And this is how I got to this position. There. Okay, so I hope you saw knight f6 after knight a6, move 19 for black. I think it's quite a reasonable game. I think it's quite reasonable, but in the end it wasn't very good. So after knight f6 check, we have some nice ideas here for white, including this move here, f7 check, and if bishop e8, maybe that's quite a reasonable move. Then I think queen g3 check and bishop g6 and f7 check. Is that any good? It looks quite good. f7 check. The bishop can't capture, nor can the king. So the king might go here, and then moves like e4 are going to be quite devastating with the bishop on to h6 check. Or just the queen d6 check is quite good too. Is it? Don't know. I'm trying to be cute about this. But after queen e7, I've got queen f4 with the idea of now coming to h6 check. And then I can play e4 and bishop g5 sort of thing. So it's good to be able to look at these sorts of things. And it's also good to look at one's losses, which are very hard to do, but very important. Okay, thank you. Bye for now. See you next time on The Muppet Show. David Wegener over and out, where David is still on his laptop in Dunedin, and he has 2.4 seconds left, and his opponent has 0.18 seconds. Bye.